notes for you. So we had a little bit of background information as to why the English settlers might want to go to Roanoke. So we know that the ship conditions were super rough and they probably were feeling excited to get off into this beautiful island where there were so many trees and different animals and all these opportunities. So the Lost Colony of Roanoke. Lost Colony is the name given to the settlement that was established in 1587 on Roanoke Island off the coast of what is now North Carolina. So right where we live, right? We're studying North Carolina's history because we live here. The colony is called Lost because no one knows what happened to its people or where they went. It's one of America's greatest mysteries. So here we have a map. Here is Roanoke Island. We can see it's kind of along the outer banks. Wilmington's right about here, which puts us right about here. So in perspective, it's really not that far from where we are. And again, you can go on Discovery Ed to check out a little bit about Roanoke as well and where in North Carolina. So let's get a little bit of background history. This isn't the first colony that was established on Roanoke. So the Lost Colony was England's second colony in America. The first had been established on Roanoke Island by a group of 108 men sent to the island in 1585 by the English soldier and explorer Sir Walter Raleigh. Now, if Raleigh sounds familiar to you, it's because that city is named after Sir Walter Raleigh. So he must have been an important person there. The first colony was meant to serve chiefly as a base for repairing and resupplying English warships, but the colonists found that the seas around the island were too shallow for ships to seek shelter there. So if you remember from our unit about pirates, the Pacific is known as, North Carolina near the Outer Banks is known as the shipyard to the Pacific because so many ships get destroyed there. There's so much history at the bottom of the ocean. In addition, the land was not productive enough to support both the colony and the Indians already living there. As a result, the colonists returned to England in 1586. So this first colony, they tried to stay there. They really did, but they said, no, thank you. There wasn't enough food, there wasn't enough shelter, they were running into problems with the Native Americans, which we're going to talk about tomorrow. A few days after the colonists left, a group of ships sent by Raleigh from England arrived at the island with supplies and more colonists. When the new colonists found the others had left, most of them sailed back to England with the ships. So when they reported back to the motherland and said, hey, we needed some help, they sent people and they sent supplies, but they were already gone. That first colony, they up and left. So, however, 15 adventurers or explorers remained on the island. In May 1587, Raleigh sent another group of colonists to America to settle on the shores of the Chesapeake Bay. These colonists became the Lost Colonists. So, this is when we start getting into the people who try to live on Roanoke, but then something happened to them. They were led by John White, an Englishman who had been a member of the first colony. So this is John White, and that was their leader. In July of 1587, the commander of the ships carrying the new colony, refused to sail beyond Roanoke Island and forced the colonists to land there. When the colony landed, it consists of 117 people, 91 men, 19 women, and 9 children. 27 days later, on August 18th, White's daughter, Eleanor, gave birth on the island to a baby girl. Her name was Virginia Dare. The baby was the first English child born in America. Her father, Anise Dare, was also one of the colonists. So later in August, White returned to England for supplies. His daughter, granddaughter, and son-in-law remained on the island. So White must have been in a really hard predicament, right? He had to leave his family behind to sail the 2 months back to England to get more supplies because people were starving. Life was hard in Roanoke. It wasn't this beautiful place that they thought it was going to be where, you know, everything came easy to them. They had to work really, really hard. War between England and Spain prevented White from returning to Roanoke Island until August 1590. So Queen Elizabeth said, "Hey, I'm sorry, bud, you can't go back. I need those ships." So he left in 1587 and got back in 1590. That's 3 years later. Those people were waiting for him to come back. Uh-oh, let's see what happened. By the time he arrived, the colony had been abandoned. The only traces of the colonists were the letters CRO carved into one tree and the word Croatoan carved to another. The Croatoan Indians were friendly Indians who lived on the island south of Roanoke Island. Although the colonists had intended to go north by land to Chesapeake Bay, White decided to see if they had gone to live with the Croatoans. However, a storm and the lateness of the season forced White and his expedition to abandon their search and return to England. The lost colonists were never seen again by any Europeans.